will deduct from their score approximately a tenth or maybe more. Melrose Bars has come a long way. It used to be their weakest event, but now it has turned out to be one of their stronger events. The vault score for Sarah Anderson was a 7.6. Tonight is Melrose's Parents' Night, and there are many fans here tonight. They really appreciate all the support that we have received this year. Next up for bars is Jill Boyning. She's a 9th grader, and she averages a 7.2. Her personal best is a 7.55. Jill has just recently put in a new move in her routine. It is called an uprise. She starts out with a glide kip, then to her uprise, into a bop, and then she does a regrasp with a half turn. Right into a short kip between the bars, a back hip circle, and a sole circle half turn bop. Then into a long hang kip, and directly into her dismount, which is a flyaway. Very nicely done. The results for tonight's meet so far are Melrose with 34.15 and Little Falls with 26.75. Hi, I'm Jenny Anderson, the manager of the Melrose Gymnastics team, commentating for you. Amy Hendrickson for her bar routine. She's a junior and a captain of the team, and she averages a 7.65. Her personal best is a 7.85, which she received at the Litchfield meet. She's moving along very nicely and dismounts with a very high flyaway, which above the top bar, which means she gets superior credit for it. The results so far for tonight's meet are Melrose with a 34.15 and Little Falls with a 26.45. Tonight is Parents' Night for the gymnasts, and there are many fans here tonight. Melrose is hosting the first annual conference meet, which consists of 8 teams, and the biggest competitor right now is Sauk Centre. The 8 teams that consist of our conference are Sauk, Melrose, Litchfield, Painesville, Cathedral, Sartell, Benson, and Morris. The meet is this Saturday, February 10th, and will begin at 12 o'clock. bars is Sarah Anderson, an 8th grader. She averages an 8.1, and her personal best is a 8.2, which she received at Park Rapids. She begins her routine with a regrasp, drop, into another regrasp, a straddle over the bars, a kip in between the bars, back hip circle, sole circle, another long hang kip, and then a back hip circle, directly into her dismount, which is a flyaway. She sticks her routine. The bar score for Amy Fell was a 6.25. She was filling in for Amber Frericks, who is injured because she has Achilles tendonitis, but she will be back in full force tomorrow. And Jill Boyning received a 6.95 for her bar routine. The competitor for Little Falls just did a Sukahara, which is a very high skilled vault to do for high school gymnastics. The girl around her, and she has very risky skills. She does a back semi on the beam, and she does a full twist on the floor. The next competitor for Melrose on bars will be Chris Farner. Chris Farner is a 9th grader, and she averages an 8.4. Her personal best is an 8.65, and she is tied for the school record. What makes her bar routine so unique is she does a handstand on the high bar. Chris went to state last year by placing 2nd in the region meet. Here comes her handstand. She missed her dismount, but she just went over the low bar. She should have done a layout flyaway. The bar score for Amy Hendrickson was a 7.4. Melrose's region meet will be at Park Rapids this year. It will be February 17th, and Melrose attended Park Rapids. They went to an invitational earlier this year. Melrose. High hopes of placing first and going all the way to state. Just allows them to warm up and stay warmed up so that they will be fully stretched for their event. This year, Melrose has had many new school records. 4 of them were taken by Amber Frericks at the Park Rapids Invitational. She has the best score on floor, which is an 8.8, and she's tied with Sherry Tom. She has the best score on bars, which is an 8.7, and she's tied with Chris Farner for that. She has the best score for beam, which is a 9.1. She has the best score for all around, which is a 34.3. Amber Frakes also will not be competing on beam. Filling in for her will be Jenny Dieters. The score for Chris Farner's bar routine is an 8.6, and the score for Sarah's bar routine is an 8.2, which ties her personal best. Melrose has a lot of depth to their team this year, and the team will have no one graduating next year. There are two 11th graders who are both captains, Amy Hendrickson, who competed on vault and bars and will compete on floor exercise tonight. The other junior is Amy Kramer, who is out right now with a broken ankle. Her best event was the beam. She also competed on floor and the vault. Jenny Dieters is now beginning on her beam routine. She starts it out with a step-up mount. She begins her 2 back walkovers, which is a superior move. When performing on the beam, you need your component parts. You need 3 mediums and 2 superiors, and you need to go down on the beam, which Jenny just did. There's a bit of originality, which will bring her score up higher. That was a cat leap, right into a tuck jump. Next, Jenny will be doing one of her requirements, which is a full turn. She had a little bobble on that, but she pulled it out okay. This is another of Jenny's requirements, a scale. Next, she will be doing a cartwheel, which is a medium move. Right into another back walkover, and right into her dismount, which is a summy. That's a great way to start out the meet with no falls. The totals for tonight's meet are, the total for bars for Melrose is a 31.15, and the total for vault for Little Falls is a 31.6. So far, Melrose has a 65.3, and Little Falls has a 58.35. Right now, Melrose is currently in 8th place with the Class A in the Class A category in the state. With an average of 131. Their high is a 133. Next up on beam is Sarah Anderson. Sarah is an 8th grader, and she averages a 7.95. Her personal best is an 8.2, which she received last year. Sarah's been out for a couple days because of illness and all the flu that has been going around. Sarah starts off her beam routine with a step-up mount, which is a superior move. She goes into her back walkovers. She nails both of them. The things that judges look for in a beam routine is that it's flowing with no stops, and there are no wobbles. Each wobble or fall will be deducted from their total score. Sarah performs a little bit of originality along with her scale, which is a requirement. There's a full turn. She has a little bit of wobble on that. Here she will do a cartwheel. Lately, Melrose has been performing very well on beam with an average of 1 fall in the last 3 meets. Sarah goes down on the beam and does a scale. And she goes up, preparing for her dismount, which is a front tuck. She had 1 step, which will be a slight deduction, but she had no falls. The beam score for Jenny Dieters was a 7.2. The team would like to give a special thank you to all the parents for everything they have done for them. And they would also like to give a special thanks to Monica Farner and Betty Schnell for helping out with the scoring of the meet. The coaches for the Melrose Lady Dutchman are Nancy O.J. and Beth and Glenn T. Schaefer. Chris Farner starts out with a step-up mount. She will also be attempting to do 2 back handsprings. She sticks the first one. She also sticks the second. Chris is one of our all-around competitors. Her personal best in the all-around is a 33.9, which she received at the Alexandria meet. That was a scale. Now she does a cartwheel. Right into a front semi dismount, which is new for her, and she nails it. Right now, Melrose is on a roll. They have no falls so far this meet, and they have 2 more people left to go. Chris Farner is a 9th grader, and she averages 7.7. Her personal best is an 8.4. And she held the school record for a little bit this year. And she has put in a lot of time on the beam, moving up from B squad, which she competed in a couple of meets at the beginning of the season. Next up for Melrose is Ann Farner. She's a sophomore and averages a 7.9. Her personal best is an 8.3, which she received at Park Rapids and took 6th place out of 36 beam workers. Beam score for Sarah Anderson was a 7.4. Right now, Little Falls is competing on the floor exercise. Little Falls held their conference meet this past weekend, and they scored a 120. They are in Region 8AA, which is a difficult region, which Melrose was in the earlier years of gymnastics. Conference points are received by a gymnast placing 1st through 5th place on an event. First place, you receive 5 points. Second place, 4 points. Third place, 3 points. Second place, 2 points. And first place, you receive 5 points. Melrose is in the 6A region. The region consists of Sauk Centre, Park Rapids, Pelican Rapids, Morris, Wadena, and Frazee. Ann Farner is now beginning her beam routine. She starts out with a step-up mount once again. Anna's going into a handspring. Very solid. And then she goes into her second back handspring. Oh, very nice. Anne has been working back handspring since the 7th grade. She did her scale, and now she does her move that is on the beam. She completed her full turn. She had a major wobble. She did not fall, but she will be deducted for it. Anne has put in 2 very high leaps, which she will receive superior credit for, or high superior it is up to the discretion of the judges. And her front semi-dismount, which is new for Anne. Anne was a little shaky on a few moves, but she still stuck the whole routine. This is Dawn Holthalter from Little Falls. She is their best girl. In her first pass, she is doing a full twist, which is a high superior move and very difficult for someone in the high school level. This is a handstand pirouette, which is another high superior move. Right into a move on the floor. The vault that she performed earlier in the meet, which was a Sukahara, as I said, received a 9.2. The judges look for a lot of originality on floor, which include their dance and a lot of facial expression. There are requirements on floor as there are on beam. Right now we have Sherry Tom competing on the balance beam. She has an aerial in her routine, which is very difficult. Sherry is an 8th grader, and her average is an 8.2. Her personal best is an 8.35, which she received at Park Rapids. There she just fell on her aerial. Sherry will try to shake that off and continue on with her routine. That was the first fall Melrose had received tonight. There's Sherry's full turn. And a body wave, which is just a dance move. Last year, Sherry could not compete because of an elbow injury. She was attempting a full twist on the floor exercise and shattered her elbow. She worked very hard and did a lot of strengthening and came back and competed in the last few meets of the season. Right now, she's doing continuous cartwheels directly into her dismount, which she will receive superior credit for that also. Well, Melrose performed very well in the beam with only one fall. Sarah Anderson's beam routine score, Chris Farner's beam routine score was an 8.6, and Ann Farner's beam routine score received an 8.1. We have one event left in this meet. Melrose will be competing on the floor exercise, and Little Falls will be competing on the beam. I would like to make a correction on how scoring is done for a conference meet. First place receives 5 points, second place receives 4 points, third place receives 3 points, second place receives 2 points, and fifth place receives 1 point. Points are also given for the all-around score. Currently, Melrose is holding in a strong first place in our conference, in which we are undefeated. Other injuries have taken place on the Melrose team, including some B squad members. Pam Beckers had a fall, which caused her to have a broken ankle. Like I said before, Amy Kramer also has a broken ankle because of a fall off the beam. And Becky Meyer is suffering from a sprained ankle. Tonight, Amy Hendrickson will be competing first on the floor exercise. She will be taking the place of Amber Furix. Amy is is a very good dancer. Tonight she's putting in a new move, which is a front summy. Here Amy goes with her first pass, which is her front summy. She does an aerial. Amy's second pass is a round off, back handspring, back tuck. Next, Amy will attempt to do her handstand pirouette. She makes it around once, which is a superior, not a high superior, as if she would have gone around twice. This is Amy's leap series. And a little bit of dance in the corner. Amy's final pass is a round off, 2 back handsprings. She attempts to do a double turn and ends her routine with a finish on the floor. A very nicely done routine for Amy. The beam score for Sherry Tom is now being posted. And she received a 7.7. Right now our scores for tonight are a total for beam for Melrose with a 31.8. The floor total for Little Falls is a 32.2. The cumulative total so far for Melrose is a 97.1, and for Little Falls it is a 90.55. Our next competitor on floor is Ann Farner. She is a sophomore, and she averages a 7.7. Her personal best is an 8.25, which she got at Litchfield. Ann is also putting in a new move, which is a round off 2 back handspring summy instead of a round off 1 back handspring summy. And starts out her routine with a bit of dance. And she does a very, very high round off leap, which she will receive superior credit for. Ann is preparing for her first pass. Here she goes. Is a round off, 2 back handsprings. She made it. She nailed it. She did her aerial and is now preparing for her second pass, which is a front walkout, round off, 1 back handspring. Her next move is a handstand pirouette, which she received high superior credit for. Her final pass is a round off, 2 back handsprings. And she ends her routine. Very nicely done. The floor score for Amy Hendrickson was a 7.95, which is well above her average, which is a 7.65. Her personal best is an 8.67, which she received last year. She has not been able to perform on floor because of Achilles tendonitis, where she only started competing on floor halfway through the season. But she did start the season out as being on varsity bars. Next on floor is Sarah Anderson. She is an 8th grader and averages an 8.4. Her personal best is an 8.6, which she received in the meet against Cathedral. Sarah also dances very well. Last year she went to the state meet as a 7th grader. Sarah will start out her first pass. She will be doing a round off, back handspring, back layout. This is her leap series. Her second pass is a round off, back handspring, into a tuck. She does one aerial, right into a second aerial. This is her handstand pirouette. She adds a little bit of originality to it by doing a stag and a split. A requirement of the floor is to perform something on the floor, which Sarah is doing right now. A full turn, and then she will prepare to go into her third pass, which will be a front walkover step out, round off, 2 back handsprings. And she ends her routine with a smile. Very nicely done. The floor score for Ann Feiner is an 8.05. Next up on floor, we have Sherry Tom. She's an 8th grader, and she averages an 8.3. Her personal best is an 8.8, and she currently is tied for the school record. Her floor routine contains a skill such as the full twist. She made it. She had to pull it out a little bit in the end, but she made it around. Next, she will try her double pirouette. She makes that. With that, she will have 2 high superior moves, which is more than the requirement. Her second pass is a round off, 2 back handspring, and to a tuck. Sherry does continuous aerials, which is another high superior move, and she will go into her third pass, which is a front walkover step out into 2 back handspring split jump. And she will finish her routine. Melrose is holding very strongly this evening. They came off a rough meet last week with a lot of illness and injuries. That was the Melrose fans. We like to thank them for the large fan support we have received this year. Our next competitor on floor will be Chris Farner. She is a freshman, and her average is an 8.6. Her personal best is an 8.7, which she received during the Litchfield meet. Chris's strong point is her tumbling. She goes right into her first pass, which is a round off, 2 back handspring. Very nicely done, back layout. She does her 2 leaps, and she goes into a double pirouette. Actually, she went around 2.5 times. Her third pass is front walkout, back handspring into a high leap. She does her requirement, which is doing something on the floor. She's preparing for a third pass, which is a round off, 2 back handspring, and a very nicely done tuck into her ending pose. The third floor score, which was received by Sarah Anderson, is an 8.7, which is 1/10 of a point higher than her personal best. Sherry Tom received an 8.5. This is Little Falls competing on the beam. They just had one fall. She remounts the beam and begins her next move. The gymnast has 10 seconds to remount the beam after a fall. She finishes with an aerial dismount. We have just been informed that Chris Farner has broken the school record with an 8.85 on the floor. Congratulations, Chris. The team is really proud of her. We are still waiting the total scores of the meet, but we would like to thank you for tuning in and watching the meet tonight. The next competitor on beam will be Dawn Holthalter. She has a very difficult routine, which includes a back tuck. She mounted with a step-up mount into a full turn, into a very high leap, and a very nicely done straddle leap, which is not very common in high school gymnastics. Here comes her tuck. She nails it. She did a back handspring into another back handspring. There's her leap series. Into a very nicely done handstand. That is a high superior move. She does a back handspring directly into a back layout to dismount her beam routine. There's been a correction on the floor score. Sherry time received an 8.55 instead of an 8.5. This concludes tonight's meet, and we will have the scores for you as soon as possible. Once again, we'd like to remind you of our conference meet, which we will be hosting this Saturday at 12 o'clock. There will also be a fan bus going down to the region, or going up to the region meet, which is in Park Rapids. I would also like to thank our two cameramen for tonight, which are Paul Moscoviak and Tony Beard. We now have the results for tonight's meet. The vault with the fifth place is 8.25. And fourth place is an 8.3 from Sherry Tom. Third place was an 8.6, received. The total for floor for Melrose was a 34.1, and the total for beam for Little Falls was a 27.9. We now have the top 5 places for each event. 5th place on bars was Jill Boyning from Melrose with a 6.95. 4th place from Melrose was Amy Hendrickson with a 7.4. 3rd place was received by Sarah Anderson, and she got an 8.2. 2nd place was received by Chris Farner with an 8.6, and 1st place was Dawn Holthalter with an 8.65. She was from Little Falls. 5th place on beam was Sarah Anderson from Melrose with a 7.4. 4th place was Sherry Tom with a 7.7. 3rd place was Ann Farner with an 8.1. 2nd place was Chris Farner with an 8.6. And 1st place was Dawn Holthalter from Little Falls with a 9.4. 5th place on floor was Stacy Frank from Little Falls with an 8.15. 4th place was Sherry Tom from Melrose with an 8.55. 3rd place from Melrose was Sarah Anderson with an 8.7. 2nd place was Chris Farner from Melrose with an 8.85 and a new school record. 1st place was Dawn Holthalter from Little Falls with an 8.9. The vault scores: 5th place was Jenny Dieters from Melrose with an 8.25. 4th place, Sherry Tom from Melrose with an 8.3. 3rd place, Amy Hendrickson from Melrose with an 8.6. 2nd place, Chris Farner with a 9.0. And 1st place, Dawn Holthalter from Little Falls with a 9.2. Our all-around gymnasts for tonight were Karen Frohr from Little Falls with a 25.75, in which she got 4th place. 3rd place was Sarah Anderson, who's from Melrose with a 31.95, and Chris Farner got 2nd place from Melrose with a new school record of 35.05, and 1st place was Dawn Holthalter from Little Falls with 36.15. The team scores for tonight's meet were Little Falls with 118.45 and Melrose 131.25. Congratulations.